Star Wars fans, Jesse for the Imperial Academy. Welcome back to a Halloween special. And I thought I'd share a couple of ghost stories for you. Well, one of them not being a ghost story. One's actually a kidnap story, starring me. Yes. Well, usually I do the toys and the unboxings, but this time since it's Halloween, everyone's celebrating trick or treats, getting candies, lighting fires, doing drugs, drinking beer in cemeteries, doing naughty things that you shouldn't be doing. So anyways, my first story is from the 80s. It was like mid 80s, probably like 84, 85. This was before you young kids now, or you young adults who complain about everything, was when stores, there was a store in my area in LA where they had a bunch of, back in the days it was like, if it was Christmas, everything was decked out in Christmas. Halloween, everything was decked out in Halloween, and so forth and so forth. So back in the 80s, we went to Kmart, and it was my grandma, my grandpa, my mom, my uncle, and I. So as always, I wanted to go see the toys, wanted to go look at the toys. Then we went to the, I went to the Halloween decorations by myself. And I was just looking around, minding my own business. And this lady came up to me, and I don't remember how old I was. 7, 8, 9, I don't remember. We started talking about Halloween, how the masks look scary, and these masks were actually looked scary back in the days, not compared to now, when they're crud. So we're like, yeah, the masks are scary, and this, and we're just chit-chatting, talking. So then she's like, hey, do you want to see something? I'm like, well, yeah, what is it? She goes, oh, you have to come with me. Now, back when I was a kid, they always had these commercials, which I don't see anymore. Stranger Danger, McGruff, this dog that would talk about, strangers, stay away from people you don't know. So my instincts were like, whoa, no, I'm okay. I don't want to go. So she grabs me by my hand, kind of, by my wrist, and it's kind of like pulling me. So I'm like, no. While she's pulling me, I'm holding my ground, kind of like, no, I don't want to go. So then my uncle comes, and he was probably like, maybe 14, 15, around there. Grabs me by my other arm. He was like, hey, what the hell's going on? And I was like shocked. My body shut down, and I was just incapacitated. I couldn't move. So they were like pulling me left and right, and really, really hard. And I was really scared on what was going to happen. So while this is going on, no one was helping or anything like that. So then my uncle really pulled me hard, yanked me from her, and she kind of took off. So we want to go run tell my mom, and want to go tell my mom and then my grandparents also what happened. So we're looking around the store. We talked to security. Apparently she left, and then it was our turn. We decided to leave. We decided to leave the store. Excuse me. We decided to leave the store. We went around Kmart, around the block, to see if we seen this lady or anything like that. So while we came around the whole block, my grandpa made a right onto the street, and then instead of going to the right-hand lane, he went to the far left lane where we couldn't cross over. So we ended up in the left lane on the street, and I noticed the woman by the semi-truck. And then, I told my grandparents and my mom, that's the lady that tried to take me and all this. So my grandpa didn't, my mom to get off the car and, beat the hell out of her. So I was like, that's her. And she was with the guy in a semi-truck. And who knows? I mean, I think like what would have happened if she took me, or if my uncle wasn't there, or I don't know. But that's the scary part. So all you kids out there playing with your phone, walking around, thinking that mommy and daddy's going to be there, put that damn phone away, put the tablet away. And you parents, put the phone, get the tablet away, because anything can happen to your kid. And you know, I don't want anything bad to happen to kids. I love kids, but that's the most scariest thought when your body shuts down and you don't know what to do. You freeze, you freak out, and I don't know. It was just a scary moment in my life that I wonder would I been killed? Would I been sexually assaulted? And the sucky part of the story is, well, two parts. We want to go talk to the police, and they went over there, but they weren't there. They must have left, or she wasn't there. The semi guy wasn't there. And then a little bit after that, maybe the following year, there was a same Kmart. A kid went missing, and he was sexually assaulted, but they found him. That's the sad part. But anyways, so that's one of my scary stories. My second one is a ghost story. Now, in my house, ever since I was small, you know, each uncle who moved into the bottom room of the house would always tell me, oh, you know, I see shadows, or I see like a person standing there. And I always thought it was BS. Oh, you know, yeah, whatever, okay. Just trying to scare me. So then my second or third uncle left the house. So I took over, and I made into my music room because I play guitar. And I put my bed down there, my clothes or whatever, my dresser. So it was just my room. But I always had this weird vibe in there. So I would always sleep with the door open, because you know, once the door's open, you know, the outside's right there, but no one can know. No one knows there's a room there. So I would leave one light on and the door open, and you wouldn't, you know, feel like something wasn't right. So one night I go to bed, and then I feel like my bed shaking. I mean, literally, like it was an earthquake, and the people that I tell this to, they're like, oh no, you're probably imagining something. It was probably an earthquake. Well, first of all, I had lights in there that were kind of on a hook. I don't know, it's like a rope maybe or something, but not a rope, but like a chain wire that hooked up to the light. And if it was an earthquake, those would move. So I'll get to that part right now. So I went to bed. It was really late, probably like midnight. And maybe a couple hours later, literally the edge of my bed was like shaking, like if someone was shaking it, and kind of like shaking it and up and down, like shaking it up. And I woke up because I thought it was an earthquake. And I look up at the light just to make sure it was an earthquake. The lights weren't moving. Nothing else was shaking. I jumped out of bed and ran the hell out of there, because I was like, oh hell no, I don't know what the hell happened. What happened? The only thing I know is just my bed was shaking, and it's not the kind of shaking that the good shaking, if you know what I mean. So I ran out of that room, and I went back into the room, well, you know, because my equipment was in there, you know, play guitar and all that. But once maybe, let me see, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, once that hit, I was out of that room. I didn't want to deal with it anymore. And I think even during the daytime, even because the room was underneath the house, it was like a basement, but they made it into a room. There was no light going into there. There was 2 lights, but you know, there was like maybe 2 windows or something. But by the time the sun came to the side of the house, There's hardly any light going in, so it was pretty scary either way. And trying to think anything else for my Halloween special. Oh, yeah, another one. Let me see. My grandma's car. This was late 80s, probably 88, 89. My grandma had this really cool Cadillac, all right? So we're up on the hill, and then the car was reversed. So you're up here, going uphill, and the car was parked this way because we had to change in the garage. I think it was something, the brakes, or we had to change the brakes. So that's why we're parked the opposite way. So we go in the car, my uncle and I. He was okay. Well, let's reverse his car and let's start to work on the car. I'm like, okay. So the car locked up. I mean, the brakes, it's just when he turned it on, he couldn't move anything. And we're like, what the hell? What's going on? So then finally he moved something and then he put it in drive, but it just died on us. Like the car was still on, but you push the brakes, nothing. The car wasn't in neutral. The car wasn't in reverse. We had it in drive. All of a sudden we feel the car going back down in a hill, and down this hill was two streets, one going west and one going east. So the car was going down the hill in reverse, and we couldn't see if any cars were coming or not. So if there was cars coming, we would have been killed instantly because of the streets. You go maybe 40, 50 miles per hour, and this car was going in reverse with the speed with that, we would have been goners. So we went down the hill. Luckily, when we hit the hill towards the bottom of the street, he started turning the steering wheel, and literally not lying, the car made a 360. My life, when they say that you see your life flash in front of you, that's literally true. I seen my life flash before my eyes, and not, it was cool but scary at the same time, because at that moment, damn, am I gonna die or not? So during that time, I seen cars coming, but thank God, they were distant away. So we did a 360. As soon as we hit the 360, the brakes and the car started working again. I don't know what happened. That was those were like part of the scariest times of my life, where, it was just, you don't know if you're going to die or not, or someone was going to hit you, be paralyzed, but it literally, shook me. We walked up to the house up the hill, and we were just quiet. We were just shocked. We're like, what do we do now? I mean, what is? There wasn't really anything to say. I mean, just really, shaking and scary. So, I don't know. I try to be good, and if I leave this world today, tomorrow, next week, I just want to go in a peaceful way and, being good in this world. I'm not a religious person, but, if there's a God, hey, cool, I want to go to heaven. I don't want to go to hell. But, I try to live a good life, and all you young kids out there thinking that you're tougher than everyone else, guess what? There's someone tougher than you. Always going to be someone tougher than you. So act right, be right, don't be dumb, don't be a moron. Parents, watch your kids. Kids, put your phones away when you're walking around, because anything can happen. Anyone's watching. Might be me.